During this video, we're gonna see why the Y2K was one of the most important technological events that we have on Earth, and it was a little bit disappointing. Also, we're gonna see which elements of the technology failed in that time, and we're going to understand why they failed, the origin of the Y2K, and why everybody was a little bit crazy in that time. It is true that there were nuclear devices in one really big surveillance in that time. Yes, it's true. It is true that a bunch of nuclear plants had some issues with some stuff. Yes, it's true. It is true that all the systems shut down and the aliens took over the Earth. Yes, it's true. So we're going to try to understand which part was real, which part wasn't, because there was a bunch of bluff in that time that the Earth is going to stop, the axis of the Earth is going to change, but not because of the Y2K, because the paranoid idea around the change of century, like the Earth understand the Gregorian calendar. What happens with other cultures that they have another calendars? We don't care. As always, we're gonna start from the beginning. There was a bunch of lies around the Y2K, but we need to understand how it started. We need to understand the technology of the 80s, 70s, 90s. And that's it. Remember, the first databases, they only have 2 ciphers to show in which year we were. It's something like someone say, well, how much time people are going to be working with those databases? I don't know, a few years. Yes, but 2 ciphers? I think, what happened when we reached 2000? Who cares? What is going to happen? It's really far. We're going to be on the retirement time. You can understand when in the 60s that all the databases have around 2 ciphers. It's understandable that those databases that are not working anymore. But when you change from one database and you make a migration to another database, you're going to understand which one is the problem, that the migration is not easy. The main guys that detect this kind of stuff were Bob Wemmer and Peter de Jager. Those guys detected this problem around the 60s and 70s, and I think it was a really nice idea. It really, in the moment, was really thinking in the future. I can understand also that these 2 guys, they were working on technology and they say, be careful, in 4 years, we're gonna have a real problem. Who cares in 4 years? I think this is the technology background that we needed. During the 90s, because I live in that time, I live in the 80s also. I'm that old. During that time, it depends on the people. Some people were super paranoid, saying that the aliens are going to attack. Some people, they were watching nuclear devices because they can explode the whole universe or something like that, and that was partially true. There was a really big work between USA and Russia trying to understand that we are not attacking you, okay? So they had a really nice communication between them, saying, hello, how are you? How is your wife, your kids, your dog? How you doing? Are you still in love? Do you want a date? I think you're a little bit sexy in your Russian accent. And this kind of conversation that were super kindly between each other, there was something like a really nice communication between them, because we can blow for everything, but not just because one random number is attacking us. There were some kind of alien chance that aliens, they say, well, I think the time is now, because we found out that they have an issue with the number in the cell phone. Yes, we have cell phones in that time. They were a piece of crap. They didn't have any timer, some of them. So they have problems in the cell phone. So we're going to attack now. We like to make this kind of attacks when they're having problem with their watches. And they're celebrating because everybody is awake in that time. I think it's the worst time to attack. You can attack in the middle of the night, in the random day, but not just in the moment that everybody is awake, celebrating, taking care about critical systems. There were systems that they were super vigilated, they were super taken in consideration. For example, nuclear plants, nuclear places, military places that they store the bombs, because someone needs to take care about the bombs. For example, this happened 100% conversation that it was real. What are you doing? I'm leaving. It's New Year Eve. You can't go. You need to take care about the nuclear devices that we have in the facility. It's because the Y2K? Okay, don't worry, nothing happened. No, it's because we have nuclear devices that needs 24/7 surveillance, and it doesn't matter if it's going to change the year from 0 to 2000. Do we have cake? Yes. Well, that conversation happened in the real life. It's checked by the NASA. They were taking consideration inside some critical systems beyond nuclear devices and power plants. They were super under the scope in that time because it's nuclear. It says nuclear. It says nuclear. When it says nuclear, you need to be careful because nuclear sometimes is dangerous. Sometimes we have, yes, for example, Fukushima. Yes, I'm talking the Fukushima plant. They had a few issues around something like nuclear stuff. They have something like system that works in the nuclear. They don't inform where the sticks, the graphite sticks. Oh my God. I'm talking like a real expert in here. Graphite sticks, they were in some place that they need to supposed to be in one, and the system didn't inform where they are. Where are you, you graphite sticks? And the stick didn't answer. Because this is violence. You cannot ask me, where am I? I'm a free graphite stick. And there were some places, I think Sweden was one of the places, that the parking lot say that he was parking in that place like 100 years, and the guy say, oh, imagine you need to pay 100 years of parking. It's amazing. So the guy say, hey, I was parking like 5 hours, why are you putting this man? Okay, it's because of the Y2K. That's why I can't pay 300,000. Which money they have in that time? We're gonna say dollars. I cannot pay $300,000 because the parking lot was just 5 hours. Okay, it's fine. You can pay just $20. Okay, I like it. I like you. And how you doing now? Why everything is going to be dating tonight? I think it's because of the Y2K. Everybody goes crazy. We have another case. Give me a sec. Some ATMs on USA, in Australia, they had issues with the amount of money that they give you and say that you don't have any money or something like that. It was super fixed. It say, well, you don't have any money. Okay, this is the Y2K. Yes, go to the administrator or I don't know, install new stuff. There were VCR recorders that they have a few issues because they didn't want to record after the 2000 because some people put 1st of January to record something. Come on. So the VCR recorder says I can record from like 100 years ago. They didn't like to record because that's my body, that's my option. Some versions of Excel pre-97 that there was a really big change on the systems of Office. They started to have a few issues. I met people that they make an entire database inside one Office. Come on, you need to study software engineering. It's so really hard to manage. But I think the main issue around the Y2K was the commercial stuff. Even I remember that Jennifer Lopez had a video that she was singing and everything shut it down. I remember that time. Yes. Oh my God. It was so long. The years started to change country by country because flat earth society, the earth is round, or in the worst case scenario is cubic because the earth is moving around the sun, and every country started to change the date, and every country it had a different show that was super incredibly amazingly boring as hell. No naked ladies. I think it was much more marketing than other thing because I remember that some computers they had a sticky that says this is a Y2K proof or something like that. But I also remember that Windows 95 already had the 2000 ready to go. That's the whole story of Y2K. It's a little bit late right now because this channel is dark or late tonight. So it will be nice if you comment what you were doing on the Y2K if you were alive, of course, because only old people know about this one. Let me know, put in the comments, put something beautiful, and like, subscribe, and whatever, and fijne dag.